Alright, so like most of you, I started watching Euphoria, I caved, and I immediately fell in love with the character Kat, who's played by Barbie Ferreira, and she had a makeup look that she did for a costume party, and it was a nun, and I'm going to recreate that today because I thought it was really cool and it was one of my favorite looks. So first I'm going to start with my face, and I'm going to use Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to also mix it in with this NYX Pore Filler. It comes out super gross, but it works. It has like a weird texture to it. Ugh, see? Looks like pus and it's just gross, but it makes the face soft and smooth, so I don't really mind. Alright, so now that my face is primed, I'm going to move on to color correcting and concealing. I'm going to use the NYX HD Color Corrector that's in shade green, just to cover up some of my red spots and dark circles under my eyes and around my face. It really helps in covering up red toned pimples as well, so alright, see, it kind of cancels out the red tones. I could have put more in some spots, but I'm gonna use a full coverage foundation, so that'll just catch all the rest for me. Also, sorry for all the weird faces I make while I'm doing my makeup. That's just how I am. Alright, so now that my face is primed and I've got my color corrector, I'm going to be applying my foundation. And I'm going to be using the, what is this? Tarte Amazonian Clay in 22N Light Neutral. Looks like this in the bottle. I'm just going to apply that directly to my face because I don't like to use my fingers. I've never used this foundation before. I used the face tape, but that didn't work out so well for me. It broke me out like crazy, but everybody says that the Amazonian Clay is better, so I decided to give it a try. And I'm not sure if this is completely my correct shade. It might be one shade too dark, but I'm going to use this concealer brush to blend it out all over my face. I would use a foundation brush to spread this all over my face, but I always feel like it's more fluffy and not as condensed as this concealer brush, so it captures more product and it just wastes the product inside of the brush. And I kind of do the same thing anyway, so now I'm just going to take a Real Techniques blending sponge and I'm just going to blend that out, so that way it's not all streaky from the brush. Alright, so now that that's blended out, I think it came out really nice. It's probably a little bit too peachy toned and orange, as you can see, but I can use some concealer to fix that. But I'm sure if I go one shade like light sand, it'll be perfect. But honestly, the Amazonian Clay works very well. There's no creasing, it covers up my pores really nice, it looks pretty smooth. It's better than their face tape. That one came off super quick. It was like, my skin's dry and it made me look really oily and it just moved a lot, and by that, like within an hour the foundation had come off my forehead. So Amazonian Clay, I'd recommend it. It's really nice. And now that I'm done with the foundation, I'm just going to go in with some concealer under my eyes and some red spots on my face that I see. I'm using the Colourpop concealer in Fair 4. It's their new one. It's their no filter concealer. It actually works really good. I like it better than Shape Tape. And it's only $5, so I'm not going to complain about that. I felt like face tape was too dry. And it didn't... Face tape, foundation, and concealers, they didn't really work on me. The concealer was too dry and it creased, and the foundation just made me look like a mess. So... Alright, so that's as good as it's gonna get. That looks pretty fine to me. So now I'm gonna use foundation. I'm gonna use the Airspun foundation in Muted Beige. Usually I use Naturally Neutral or Translucent, but I'm just gonna use what's left over from this one. I'm gonna also mix it in with the Cover FX powder in shade Light Translucent. And I'm gonna be using a fluffy powder brush from BH Cosmetics. I'm going to tap that all into my face. Alright, so now that my face is pretty much done, I've got my primer, my foundation, my base, all of that stuff. I'm going to get to the fun part and I'm going to contour. I'm going to use the NYX Cosmetics contouring kit in Double Date. It's a small one, it's not that huge one that they have. I just use the dark color, I don't really use the white. And I'm going to use an angled brush from one of my BH Cosmetics sets. And I'm just going to start at the highest point of my cheekbone, right above the hollows of my cheek. And I'm going to go up and kind of make an L shape on my face. So I'm going to go up and around by my temples. And then I'm pretty much just going to repeat that on the other side. Alright, so now that we're all contoured around our face, we're going to take a small, little tiny brush. I don't even know where this one came from. I think it's an old Revlon brush. And I'm just going to go down the bridge of my nose to make it look smaller. I'm using that same NYX contouring shade. I really like it. It's a warm brown. I think it's a really nice shade. It comes in darker tones too, and it's pretty pigmented, so... Okay, so now that everything's contoured and I know the lines are pretty harsh, I'm going to take an old CoverGirl compact in Natural, and I'm going to basically bake my face and cut out some of the edges of the contouring to make the lines more sharp. Alright, so now that's done sitting, I'm just going to take a powder brush and wipe away all that excess powder I put on my face right now. Alright, so now that my face is all finished, I'm going to move on to brows. I'm not the best at doing eyebrows because my bangs kind of cover them, so I cheat a little bit and I don't have to do them. But I'm going to do them today, and I'm going to use the Tame Frame NYX Pomade in black, and I'm also going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wisp Pencil in Ebony. So I'm going to start with the brow pomade. I'm going to go over my eyebrows to darken them. I'm just going to use an angled brush to kind of go over them. Now I'm going over my eyebrows with the Anastasia Brow Wiz Eye Pencil to shape and define my eyebrows. Alright, so now that my eyebrows are looking thoroughly thick and crazy, I'm gonna clean them up a bit so that way they don't look so, like, awful. Okay, so I'm going to go back in with the Colourpop No Filter Concealer on a small angled brush, and I'm just going to clean up the edges a bit. So now that I'm done with my eyebrows, and it took me about 2 hours and they're still not perfect, I'm going to move on to the fun part, which is eyeshadow. So the eyeshadow look I'm going to do today is inspired by Kat from Euphoria. She did a nun look where it was like all red and black and it had crosses and glitter. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to throw up a picture if I have it. So before I get started with the eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Ulta Beauty Tinted Eye Primer in Satin Blush. I'm almost done. I need to buy a new one. It keeps the eyeshadow on really well, and it also leaves a rose gold tinted sheen on your eyes, and it dries down, but like it looks really pretty when it's on. It leaves like a satin kind of color. It keeps it really shiny and pretty. I'm just gonna put that everywhere I'm gonna apply the eyeshadow. So now that I've got the primer on, it's time to move on to the fun part, which is eyeshadow. So the look I'm going to be doing is Kat from Euphoria, and it's going to be her nun look. Her nun look was basically red and black with upside down crosses, and even if you don't watch Euphoria, this would still be a cute Halloween costume makeup look to do. So the first palette I'm going to use is the Morphe 25L Pride palette, and I'm also going to be using the Colourpop Main Squeeze palette because the look is very red, so these have the colors that I need. Alright, so the first palette I'm going to start with is the Morphe 25L Pride palette. I'm going to be taking the shade Milk right here in the upper corner, and I'm going to be putting that on my eye as a base and a transition shade. I'm going to be using a fluffy brush from BH Cosmetics. Alright, so now that we have a base down, I'm going to be taking the shade Life, that red shade right there, and I'm going to be applying it all over my lid. In Euphoria, her makeup is kind of like a sideways teardrop, so we're just going to follow that type of shape. So it's going to start round right here and then pull in right here. Alright, so now that I have somewhat of a base, I'm going to take that shade Life from the Morphe palette, and I'm just going to press it in to darken it using my finger. Alright, so now that we've deepened that shade some more, I'm going to take this shade right here, Like It's Hot, and I'm also going to blend that in to make it an even deeper red. I'm just going to be using my finger to press that in as well. So mixing the color Like It's Hot and the shade Life from the Colourpop and Morphe palette, I'm going to be taking that and recreating the sideways teardrop shape that Kat has in Euphoria. Now taking the smudger end, I'm going to get under my eye in a more finer line than this blending brush can. Using concealer, I'm going to clean up the edges of my eyeshadow to create a more refined shape. Alright, so now we've got that basic rounded teardrop shape. We're going to add the black. So in the picture, she has a little bit of black eyeliner that goes all the way to the bottom and around, and it kind of smokes out on the edges. So we're just gonna take the black called NYC from the Morphe palette, and we're just gonna do that. Alright, so now that we've laid down a base for the black edges, we're going to go in with a liquid black eyeliner. I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Liner in black, and I'm just going to make a small wing to connect to the black that we done the outer line, and then we're going to go underneath the eye. Alright, so now that the eyeliner's added and the black is on and smoked out and it's all in the same shape, I'm going to go on to eyelashes, and I'm going to use the Ulta Lash Enhancing Primer in shade Blue, and I'm just going to apply that. Alright, so now that the primer is on, I'm going to use the Maybelline Colossal Lash Mascara, and I'm also going to apply that. Alright, so now that my mascara is on, I'm just going to take my eyelash curler and curl my eyelashes before I put on my false lashes. I always like to do this first because if you do this after you apply your false lashes, sometimes it tears them off and then you have to reapply them, and that it sucks. Alright, so now that my eyelashes are curled, I'm just going to be using some false eyelashes, and I'm going to be using the Ardell Demi Wispies, and I'm going to be using duo glue to glue those on. I like to blow on my lash a little bit to allow it to get sticky, because if you try to apply it right after you apply the lash glue, it just slides around and it doesn't really stick. But if you let it get tacky and then you apply it, it applies very smoothly, so... So now that we've got the face, eyeshadow, and lashes done, the next step is to move on to lips. So in her picture, she has this bright cherry red lip with a black liner. So for the lip today, I'm going to be using Gold Blooded by Kat Von D. It's a limited edition color. And it's this bright cherry red and it has gold glitter in it. And then to outline my lips, I'm going to be using a NYX black liner pencil. Alright, so now that we have the lipstick on, I'm just going to clean up the parts that are obviously not so good, and I'm also going to line my lips with a black NYX pencil. Alright, so this is what the lipstick looks like with the black liner that I just finished. I went over it a little bit with some more lipstick to clean up some of the parts that blended between the black and the red. so next I'm going to be doing an eyeliner. I know she doesn't use one in the picture, I don't think she does, but I'm going to be using one. I'm going to use the Jumbo Eye Pencil in Rust. It's from NYX. Okay, so now that we're finished with the full makeup look, the last part is to do the infamous upside down crosses that she had. So she had 3 crosses on each eye. The middle one was longer than the left and the right, and the left and right were the same size. So to do that, I'm going to be using the matte Wet n Wild liquid eyeliner to draw the crosses on. Alright, so now that we've drawn our 3 crosses and everything's almost complete, the last step is to take some type of glitter, a glitter liner. You could have even originally done this in a glitter liner. I don't have one, so I didn't. But hers have glitter on it, so I'm going to take the Liquid Catsuit in Metallic Liquid Eyeshadow from Wet n Wild in the color Gunmetal. And I'm going to take a small little brush and I'm going to go over these so that way they're shiny just like the one that she has. Alright, so now that I've got the crosses drawn on and they're all shiny and covered in glitter, I'm going to do one last thing, and that is take a Jeffree Star Cosmetics Skin Frost in Ice Cold, and I'm going to put that on. And last but not least, I'm going to use the NYX Matte Finish setting spray to finish this, and then I'm going to do my hair. Alright, so this is the final look with the hair, accessories, and outfit done. I don't think it's the best, but I definitely don't think it's the worst. I think it looks very similar to Kat from Euphoria's Halloween look. Even if you've never seen Euphoria and you're just looking for a cute Halloween makeup look, I think this would be really cute and simple and easy to do. And yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you'll like and subscribe for more content, because I will be making more videos in the future. Mostly makeup and probably wig unboxings and other kinds of unboxings, but yeah, I hope you guys will subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!